So, hello, and welcome to the full moon in Libra. Who am I? Secret code name readings. This is secret code name Pink Rose. All right, secret code name Pink Rose. This is someone's personal reading. It is their secret code name. They know it is because they booked it in my Etsy shop, and I told them. I told them their secret code name. So this is their reading. All right, but if you have resonated to it in divine time, there is most likely a message in here for you. All right, because the beauty of the secret code names, right? You can resonate to it in divine time. What we are doing today with these Who Am I readings, all right, is seeing what your healing light or your yang energy is and what your healing dark or your yin energy is, because the light and the dark is what makes up the balance of the yin yang. Then we're going to address the shadow or the gray area that is the illusion of the self. It's not really who you are. It is the illusionary gray area that muddles the two. So we are going to address what those three things look like in order to get rid of the shadow and be in the beautiful healing energy of both your yin and yang, light and dark. All right, if you would ever like your own secret code name, guys, the link is to my Etsy is in the description. All right, each new moon has a different theme. This one just so happens to be Who Am I? And this is what we doing. All right, so secret code name Pink Rose. Secret code name Pink Rose. Spirit, please. What is their healing light? What is their healing light? What insight can you give to their healing light? Interesting. What is their healing dark? What is their healing dark? All right. And what is the shadow? What is the gray area that likes to pretend it is a part of who you are, but is not? Right? The wounded part of you that you learned that is not truly you. Okay. Bottom of the deck, Six of Wands. Top of the deck, Ten of Swords. All right, so you might feel like everybody, honest to God, you might feel like everybody always leaves you or everybody always betrays you, okay? Or no matter who you give to, you're going to end up hurt in the end. Or you feel like you always ruin something. All right, with the Ten of Swords on top, you might feel like you always ruin it. When the reality is, the underlying issue is you're really a winner and you deserve peace, and you overburden yourself trying to carry other people's crosses, trying to visualize a future with wounded people, that you could carry their weight to make it to the end, which obviously that is not sustainable. In your healing light, we have the Ace of Cups, the Magician, and the Queen of Cups, clarified by the Seven of Wands, Four of Wands, and the Moon, which is interesting because it's 1 and 1 with the Queen, and then 7 and 4 is 11 with the Moon, which adds up to 9 is 20. I mean, you got double 2s and double 11 type energy here. This kind of energy, your healing light, you're the kind of person that looks at being able to love others as standing up for yourself. You're one of those love to love people. You love to love. And it doesn't matter if they're a partner, like romantic partner, or a friend or family, like you love being able to love You like creating balance and healing. The Magician with the Four of Wands. You are a cheerleader for people. Like, you want to see their absolute best potential come out. And you know, with the Queen of Cups, how to nurture their childhood wounds, which is why it's why you're such a fucking winner. You know what I mean? It's why you're such a fucking winner. Because your light is big. It's got more cards than anything else. Like, your light is big. You love loving. You know how to nurture the woundings in people, and you want to see them happy, healthy, whole. Like, that is the epitome of who you are. Okay? You want to see others happy, healthy, whole. Big nurturer. Now you're healing dark. You're healing dark. Being in your own power. Being in your own power. The Four of Discs is a power card, right? Inner fortification. That you would fortify yourself, right? All that love energy we were talking about, that's symbolic with water. All of this water fortifying the castle, which is the self. You would also need to be able to love yourself enough to create your own happiness with the Nine of Cups, overflowing to yourself and creating your own foundation. Okay. Creating your own foundation. Now the shadow, which gets you in trouble, right? It's the hurt part of yourself that you learned from other hurt people and continue to ripple hurt through. The Hermit. Feeling like you have to shine light in people's dark places. Feeling like the result or the top of the mountain, the beauty of the outcome is so far away, and allowing yourself to get distracted by what is essentially lust. A lust for romance, or a lust for power, or a lust for I'm hearing ego, like ego boosting, okay? Or even if it's like expressions or over expressions of gratitude, like grandiose praise, right? Your shadow might tell you you deserve to be praised. You deserve to be put first. You deserve to be prioritized. They're not prioritizing you. Like, all that you've done, looking at their shadows, giving the best to them, overflowing, because, you know, this is unconditional love for both others and yourself, in your light and your dark. It's unconditional love of others in your light, and unconditional love of self in your dark. And your shadow would tell you that it needs to be conditional. It needs to be conditional. If you're going to give this kind of love, then they should help you, because we tend to negate our dark, right? We tend to negate our dark. We shine our light, and that's how we're perceived, but we tend to negate our dark. And your dark that's healing, is knowing that you know how to fortify yourself in self-love, create your own happiness and your own solid foundation without anybody else. You don't actually need anybody else. Like, if you give, it's because you're called to give. Not because you want appreciation or gratitude or expressions of whatever, or you want control, or you want whatever over other people. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that the shadow would demand of you. Well, if you give all of this to them, well, if you ask them for something, they should give it to you. And if they don't, then they're not grateful. Like, that's the game the shadow plays. Now, the shadow is not you. It is what you learned from other wounded people. It's what you learned from other wounded people. This is not who you are. Who you are is unconditionally loving of others and gives because you're guided to give, and loves the self enough to not feel slighted when other people don't reciprocate or give back, because that's not why you did it. That's not why you did it. You didn't do it for reciprocity. You did it because you were called to, because your soul loves loving and you were guided to love in that way. Knowing that you can fortify yourself with your own self-love and you don't need anybody else to make you happy or validate that you're a good person. Your shadow would ask for validation. Prove it. Prove to me you see my value, or I won't give it anymore. Prove to me that you'll reciprocate because you understand all that I've given. Whoever you learned that from, right? That's their wounds. But we don't fuck with gray. These readings, who we are not the gray. We are not the shadow. We don't have to, move on alone. Hermit card, we don't have to move on alone and feel like reciprocity is so far away or appreciation is so far away. It's always an uphill battle. It's always an uphill battle. We're always alone, wandering through the dark night, always alone, always wanting more, right? Always wanting more appreciation, more gratitude, more proof. Prove it. Prove that you love me the way I love you. Well, if you're always looking for proof, you're not seeing what's right in front of you. If you aren't patient, then you might never see it, because it might not happen right away. You might be called to give because you're called to give, and the actual result of your giving might not show up for X amount of time. It's called divine time for a reason. Just because you give this week doesn't mean they're going to be healed and great next week. People's healing processes take time. You got to know that you're in control of your own happiness, and that your happiness is not dependent on someone else reciprocating, right? That you are a sovereign being. You create harmony, right? Pink Rose, you create harmony with other people when you're called to give and love yourself for being able to give and not feeling like you're over giving or need anything in return, because you just know you're beautiful. Your energy is beautiful and it's healing. Whether you see the result of your healing or not, for other people, the result of the healing energy that you've given them, you're just rang so high pitch. You're called to give because you're called to give, and it's divinely aligned, and it feels beautiful to give because you know it's going to be healing for them one day, sooner or later. And that's a beautiful thing, that your energy was so beautiful and unconditional that one day it's going to show in their journey. They don't need to prove that they were grateful. They will be one day. And that's all you need to know. Whether you get to see it and witness it or not. It's this feeling like it's this feeling like your love has become conditional that hurts. That if they don't reciprocate it, then it hurts. If they don't reciprocate it and it hurts, it's because your shadow convinced you to hold an expectation instead of taking the expectations off, because expectations off is unconditional. You give because you're called to give. Unconditional love has no regrets. If you regret it, it's because your shadow made it conditional. Your love is never wasted. It's never wasted. Be really grateful that who you are is able to love and also not be affected by other people. Like their ability to give or appreciate or return, reciprocate, whatever, or not, doesn't affect you or your ability to give. It doesn't affect your emotional state, doesn't affect your mental state, doesn't affect your ability to love the way you do, yourself or others. You just continue to be you in your beautiful light, loving and giving of your whole self as you're guided, right? There is no such thing as unconditional with expectations. They're not the same. Right, so it's get rid of the shadow. That's not you, this is what you were taught. This is what you were taught by other hurt people. It's not you. You is this. Who you are, right? The Who Am I readings, who you are is unconditionally loving and strong within yourself. Stable and in control of your own happiness and your own energy. Your happiness is not dependent on anybody else's actions or choices, words or behavior. You just give because it feels good, really good. And that's all that matters, is that you give because it feels good. So do that. So just do that. Just be yourself. Get rid of the fucking gray. Get rid of the gray. It's not you. It's what you were taught. It's not you. All right? So I pray this will help. I appreciate any comments left. Let me know if the reading resonated. Drop a like if you haven't already. If this was your secret code name, I do appreciate all reviews left in the Etsy shop a lot. All right, I appreciate it a lot. So until next time, guys, take care of yourselves. Bye.